Hi, Dundee Carers Centre, and today I'm talking with Marthe from the Short Breaks team at Dundee Carers Centre, Nikki from Woodlands Limited in Dundee, and Share Care Scotland with Kerry. Hi guys.
Hiya.
Hello.
Hi.
And thank you for coming and joining me today. So today's Let's Talk is all about Respitality, and we're going to start with yourself, Kerry, if that's okay. Can you just tell us, please, what is Respitality?
Well, Respitality, what it does is it provides a complimentary short breaks option for unpaid carers within the hospitality industry. It is an amalgamation of the words respite and hospitality merged together to create Respitality. The idea itself was actually originated in America. There's a carer there in New Hampshire by the name of Vicky Pepper. Vicky supports her daughter who has cerebral palsy, and she had a bit of a light bulb moment one day where she realised that there was quite a few hotels in her area that she knew were never at full capacity, so they would have rooms maybe sitting empty. And she thought, well, why can't unpaid carers like us maybe go and stay for a night free of charge, without, at that point for them, it was without the person they cared for, and they thought, it's just a wee break away from home, but still quite local to us. So she approached a few of her hotels there, and this is way back in the 90s. Such a really sort of simple concept that she actually ended up running right up until COVID hit.
Oh, really?
So it was brilliant. It was, like I say, just such a simple concept that we heard about it at a Short Breaks conference in the early 2000s and thought, there's really nothing stopping us bringing something like this to Scotland, because as a lot of people know, the hospitality industry in Scotland is second to none, and we knew that there'd be a lot of businesses that would be keen to engage in something like this. So we officially sort of launched it in 2015, and we've gone way beyond hotel breaks as well. We also offer breaks through the industry, such as afternoon teas, days out at visitor attractions, beauty therapies, treatments, you name it. We tend to work with any business that'll have us. And the way that we work is, it sounds really fancy, it's called a social franchise model, which just basically means that there's many cogs in the machine, and us at Share Care Scotland wouldn't be able to do it without amazing people such as Marthe at the Dundee Carers Centre and her team, who help match carers to the breaks, as well as connect in with businesses locally. And of course, our amazing donors like Nikki at Redwood Leisure as well, who very kindly donate the breaks free of charge. And a big part of that is because they want to make their premises more accessible and inclusive. Without all those sort of partners and people supporting us, we wouldn't be able to do what we can do, which is offer this really lovely, fun short breaks option
definitely
across the country.
Definitely, it sounds fantastic, and it's really it's a good method doing it the way you're doing. Obviously, just all these people on your doorstep who can get involved in probably such a great thing. Just to provide that little bit of respite to somebody could make just such a huge difference. And that's so. What are the benefits that carers can get accessing these types of breaks, Kerry?
Well, apart from the usual ones in terms of being able to recharge batteries and just getting a bit of time out for themselves and being able to reflect and go back to their role rejuvenated, I think what stands out about breaks through Respitality is that they're really fun and they're part of our sort of community and society as well. So what we hear a lot from carers is it provides them the chance to create memories with their family and their friends. Also the cared for person as well, if they want to bring them along, because they've got that option. We know that some short breaks options don't offer that, so we'd like to keep it flexible and allow them the chance for a break from routine rather than necessarily a complete break from the caring role itself. What carers also tell us as well is because the breaks are donated free of charge, they say they feel quite appreciated because they make a lot of sacrifices being an unpaid carer. And the fact that they are being recognised by businesses in the hospitality industry who are donating these breaks free of charge and therefore not making money off them.
No.
They know that means a lot to them to know that, you know, these businesses
feel valued.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And I think because we've got great partners like Dundee Carers Centre who are facilitating the breaks, so they help sort of match the carers to the break based on, you know, the need that they have, and also help arrange the break on their behalf. If we've got carers out there in the community that maybe don't have necessarily the confidence to book their own break, or maybe just find it really hard to prioritise that, because as we know, if they've got so much on their plate as it is, to actually say, you know, let's try and get some time drilled down for you to have a break, we know it's going to be really far down the priority list. So what we find is that by having our local partners like Dundee Carers Centre to help facilitate that, it means that there's a really great chance that these breaks are going to happen. And of course, we know how beneficial the breaks are once we get on them as well. So that takes that sort of element away for them too, which is really helpful.
Yeah, definitely.
I think it also encourages them to try different breaks as well, Kerry, because you source them obviously nationally, and we can have access to them. So it might be ones, you know, carers or maybe want to have a break out with Dundee, go a little bit further afield to places they've maybe never thought of before. And like you say, it kind of encourages them to try something a little bit different and maybe step outside their comfort zone as well.
Yeah,
definitely. And what we sometimes hear from carers as well is that if they've got maybe like an old hobby that they've not picked up in a long time, and there's something we can offer through that, on the face of it might sound like nothing. So for example, we've been offered free entry and tickets to places that have like rock climbing facilities, which on the face of it might not sound like much, but then we've heard back from carers who have said, oh my word, like I used to love doing rock climbing before I became a parent, and then before I became an unpaid carer, and it's something that I've not been able to do for years, but the fact that we were able to go as a family and all abilities could take part, and it was just something that I could tap back into that meant a lot to me.
very good.
Actually, when you hear those stories, you think that is a really kind of meaningful break to somebody. It's not just like a day out climbing walls. So it's, you know, it's something that means a lot to them. So I think you're right, that as well. And also, like you say, people getting the chance to just try out different things that they've never tried before, and actually things that they, you know, breaks that they might not have realised were breaks in itself. Because I think people assume it's got to be an overnight stay and it's got to be hundreds of miles away, and actually it's about changing that perspective a wee bit, because it could just be a couple of miles down the road. It could be something that's just a couple of hours out, and that could still make a massive difference to somebody.
Definitely. I think it's breaking up that normal routine, isn't it, for a lot of people, because that day-to-day routine could just be so same all the time. So just saying, look, let's go down someplace for a little bite to eat or get a wee spa treatment for that. It just changes that day completely for somebody, doesn't it?
Yeah, 100%. Yeah. I think that's what we try to do, just try to, you know, when we're getting feedback from carers, to find out what it means to them. And so many of them will say it was just fun. It was just something, just, you know, like you say, it broke the routine up for them. Yeah. And it helped them create those memories and build the relationships with family and friends they've already got. Or we sometimes find that they might actually create really good relationships with other carers, depending on maybe they've went on a day trip together and they get to know others. And it's kind of facilitating that space to allow them to do that.
Yeah, definitely. Well, thanks for that, Kerry. And leading on to that, Marthe, so how long has Dundee Carers Centre been in partnership with the Respitality Share Care Scotland?
So I had to check with my colleagues for this answer, because they've been here a lot longer than I have. But we signed up and became a delivery partner in 2015. So I think not long after it was initially launched. And actually, fun fact, the Woodlands Hotel was actually the first business that donated to us when we set it up back in 2015. And they have since then, every year up until obviously COVID hit, donated a break to the project. And I think, like what you were saying before about, you know, it doesn't have to be, you know, across the country to have a break. I think like one of the good things about like the Woodlands breaks is, you know, it is local, it's in Dundee, but they also have, you know, the access to the swimming pool, the leisure facilities. So it makes it feel like a bit more of a luxury break, but it's only just down the road. So if you are going without the person you care for, you've kind of got that ease of mind that you're just down the road if anything happens, but you're taking yourself a little bit away and enjoying that little bit of me time. So obviously we've been, like I say, since 2015. We did obviously take a bit of a natural break within the project when COVID hit, understandably, because everyone was, businesses and hospitality businesses especially, were hit hard with that, closures, restrictions, staff furlough. So it's not really been until the end of last year and kind of beginning of this year that we've started reapproaching a lot of the businesses who had previously donated, and the response has been amazing. Even still businesses are feeling the effects, especially with cost of living and things like that, but to still see the kind of donations that we're getting in and to be able to gift on to carers has been really it's been really touching to see that need to still want to help even when everyone's kind of struggling.
Yeah, just that kind of community coming together type of thing, isn't it? Just to give each other just that little bit more help.
Yeah, definitely.
So how is Respitality delivered in Dundee?
So as Kerry was saying, like obviously there's more than just Dundee Carers Centre that are signed up to Respitality, and we're all in our different local authorities deliver it differently. In Dundee, we obviously focus on working with businesses to build kind of like a bank of donated gifts, whether it's overnight stays, leisure passes, meals, that kind of thing. But we also use that in conjunction with our brokerage model that we have here in Dundee. So for those who might not know like what that means, it's basically like a conversation between the carer and one of our short breaks brokers after they've been referred to the service. So you get referred to the service, and then like we don't have like an application process, so carers don't have to fill out any forms. They basically sit down and have either a phone call or a face-to-face chat with one of the brokers to identify their needs, what it is they'd like to get from a break, and then it's from there that we can kind of look and see, right, well we've kindly been donated this gift that would really meet that carer's outcome, and we can maybe look at a little bit of funding to go along with it to package up a break that will ultimately be the best kind of option for that carer. So we use Respitality in conjunction with another short break funding that we've got available.
Very good. And like you say, the broker side of it just gives people that a little bit more of an inspiration, I suppose, as well, just to kind of take them out of that comfort zone and maybe get them in touch with something that does kind of maybe suit them.
Oh, definitely. And also like encouragement. So like
yes,
what Kerry was saying about carers feeling that valued.
Yeah.
We often, when we're chatting to carers about short breaks, we have to kind of encourage them to say like, you deserve this.
Yeah.
You deserve to take this time out. And we'll often hear, people deserve it more than me, or there's somebody that's, worse off than I am. And you're just like, well, we're looking at you now and we're focusing on you. And we do a lot of kind of arm twisting, if you will, to encourage carers to take the breaks. And, like to help them think outside the box. Out with that, it has to be a breakaway. It doesn't always have to be a breakaway. It might not be suitable, it might be more stressful, So we'll have that kind of personal approach to help tailor it to the carer. That's
good. And then that person builds up a bit of that friendship or that kind of companion with the person they're speaking about this. They obviously get to know that person, they get to know what's going on with them and stuff. So it makes it sometimes feel easier to approach people when they do know a wee bit more that's going on with them. And I suppose over time that's something you build up, and then that's when you just get that thing right for that person.
Definitely.
Good. So Nikki, what made you guys get involved and inspired by getting involved with Respitality at Redwood Leisure?
To be honest, listening to the ladies, that's what inspires you.
Yeah.
It inspires you because you can help. If there's a way you can help, then why would you not? I'm a parent of 3 kids, now all teenagers. I know how hard that is as it is without having to. I get to escape by going to work. That sounds really bizarre, but I've always thought I can be me at work. I can be something else than somebody's mum, who is the cook and the cleaner and the this and the that, and having that
with you.
part of yourself back.
We just had a chat about this in our team call this morning. Literally, somebody's booked on maternity leave, and that's what I said. I said, you'll come back to work for the break.
Yeah, definitely.
Absolutely. I had 3 kids, 3 kids under the age of 4, which was, I couldn't wait to get back to work. It was like, right, I can be me again.
Yeah.
And having even if it's a day, even if it's a couple of hours, just to go, here's me. And I've always thought you can't look after somebody else unless you look after yourself. You're not capable, or well, you're not capable, but how can you do your best for somebody else if you're not doing the best for yourself?
Yeah,
and if that means taking a couple of hours out, take that couple of hours out. You know, we have always done the night away or the break away or whatever. We're happy to people to come down and have a coffee. If we give a voucher for a couple of coffees and a bit of cake, that's a break.
Definitely.
Anything is a break. You know, I used to think going to the supermarket without the kids was a break. You know, anything you can get time on your own to just reset your mind and be you, that is a break. And I think people who do care for other people, unpaid carers, I think that is such a valuable part of the community, that they do need to be seen as part of that community. And if we can show them our facilities and that we can help, whether they bring the people they care for or not, it's somewhere that they maybe then feel comfortable coming by themselves, or bringing the people they care for, or, like you say, making memories with friends, family. That's what it's all about. I think if COVID's taught anybody anything, it's to share what you have and to make the most of what you have, and to be there and take care of the people that you care about, but let them take care of you.
Yeah, just take that bit of time for you as well, because everybody needs that kind of recharge as well, don't they? Because without a recharge, you're running empty, and it's not good for anybody, isn't it?
Definitely.
Yeah. So what are the benefits to a business getting involved in Respitality, Nikki? I know you've touched on some of them there already, to be fair, but if there's anything else you could think about.
I think it lets people see what you've got. It lets people see that, you know, especially as a hotel. I mean, we are set a little bit away from the centre of the ferry and whatever, so it does feel like a different world sometimes. But I think people think, especially of a hotel, is that's a breakaway. You know, you've got to stay the night, or it's a fancy meal, or it's this or it's that. We're not that. We're the place up the road that you can pop in for a coffee and everybody will chat to you, or you come for your tea, or you can come for a special occasion, or just to use the leisure club or whatever. And for people to think that that's what, you know, that is what we do, I think is great for the community, and for people just to think, you know, it doesn't have to just be that special occasion. I'm driving past, let's just pop in for a coffee. I think letting people see what you have, it is an advantage anyway. And I think if people do come, so what, you're giving away a voucher, it's not costing you anything. You know, if a business breaks it down as to what even a night away would cost, literally it's the cost of your linens. It's the cost of the electricity and the water.
That you're paying for anyway, whether you're filling the room or not.
Exactly. It's the cost of resetting a bedroom. It's nothing. And if you can do that, but people can see what you are, and I think it just puts out a bit of goodwill as well. I think, you know, everybody nowadays, if the last 3 years hasn't taught you anything, it's to just do it and let people see who you are. So many places are closing. So many good businesses are closing. Everybody now is fighting for the business that is there, with after COVID and then cost of living. Everybody's fighting for business. If you're a business that's willing to put yourself out there and say, this is who we are, we're happy to donate prizes, we're happy to donate anything for a really good cause. To me, that's karma. What you give out is what you get back.
I think that's a really interesting point, though, that you make about showing people in the community that you're more than just that kind of hotel that you went to for your auntie's wedding. Because I think sometimes people do think that about hotels, that it's for people that are coming to visit the city, or it's for weddings, or, you know, your 6-year dance, that kind of thing. But actually, you're trying to say, well, actually, come and have a look, come in, let us open the doors to you, so that you can see that we are a place that you can come back to. And that's often, I think Kerry would agree, is, you know, one of the benefits I would say for businesses, is that potential for repeat custom from carers who have had that really enjoyable experience. Because, you know, if you've been gifted something and you've had a fantastic time, you're going to want to tell your friends and family about it. You're going to want to go back.
Definitely.
Yeah, but especially if you don't get time to go out very often, if you can go, even if you've got half an hour to yourself, you know, and you're going out to do the shopping, you think, oh my God, I'm just passing the door. I could just nip in and have a coffee and speak to that friendly person that's behind the bar, and you know, they'll recognise me, because we do. We get a lot of repeat business, and you think, oh, you'll go, oh, hi again, how are you?
Yeah.
Surely that's a feel-good factor as well for people.
Definitely.
And you know, if you can put yourself out to be that type of place, I think it's a win-win for everybody.
Definitely. Yeah, it's a bit of a no-brainer, isn't it? And I know we've discussed, obviously, everybody's going through a bit of there's a lot going on, cost of living crisis just now. Things are happening, business are closing, which isn't great. But what kind of words of encouragement Nikki, would you give to some businesses locally that could maybe get involved in this type of thing, this type of hospitality, giving something back to the community again? What would be your words of wisdom to them for that?
Just do it.
Yeah.
Easy as.
I mean, what more can you say? Just do it. To me, what you give out is what you get back. And there's nobody that can sit there and say their life's perfect and everything they have is wonderful and their kids are the best thing since sliced bread. That's not the truth. That's not life. No. Everybody needs help somewhere.
Yeah.
And if you as a business can help somebody else, that I'm very much a believer in what goes around comes around. And if you can be, as your business, helping somebody else, somebody someday may help you.
Yeah.
Whether it be as a business or personally. And you never know what's around the corner. Surely we've all seen
like
that.
COVID,
so,
yeah.
Absolutely. Give what you can when you can.
When you were saying that earlier, Nikki, about COVID, and it was quite interesting because obviously, like you say, off the back of that and cost of living, it's really affected businesses, hasn't it? And what was quite interesting for me, and I think some of the delivery partners like Dundee Carers Centre as well, is when we started going back out and speaking to businesses again when they were ready to donate, we thought it was going to be quite a hard sell, you know, because obviously the financial hit of it, but actually having those conversations about unpaid carers and the social isolation that they can face was actually kind of easier, because we were having people coming back to us from the industry saying, oh my word, we've all been locked down for several months. If that is what the reality for unpaid carers out there is, then I want to help, because that is torture. And that is the reality, is that, you know, that's normal for some people out there that have got caring roles. And actually, again, even more so off the back of COVID, more and more of the donors from the industry that have returned to us, and also some new ones as well, the amount of them that are coming to us now and saying, oh, I'm an unpaid carer, or actually my parents are starting to get kind of, you know, up there in age. I think I'm going to become an unpaid carer soon. You know, so they really resonate with, like what Nikki was saying about how she can understand even as a parent, like how full on that can be, let alone an unpaid caring role. We're seeing more and more people saying, like, I'm an unpaid carer and I totally get it and I want to give back, because they've got that kind of real experience of what that's like and how full on it can be, which it's kind of like the nature of the beast. You kind of think that's really hard, but it's great to hear that people are more understanding of it as well, and therefore I think people are more receptive to getting involved. So yeah.
Definitely, you can tell the difference between, you know, when you're approaching a business that has that understanding. There's very little kind of arm twisting. It's not, I get that, or I've experienced that, or I know somebody in my family. And then the other businesses who are maybe not, you know, it's just part of our job is to do that awareness raising of what an unpaid carer is and what it looks like and the effects it has on their life. So it's a win-win, I suppose.
Yeah, and I love what Nikki said there about how it's almost like a leveler for people in the community to, like you say, understand actually we're not a snooty hotel. We want people from the community to come in. We want to get to know you. Yeah. And actually, like you say, there might be that kind of misunderstanding from people initially, and then once they get through the door, it's like, oh wow, this place is great. I'm going to go and tell my pal about this, and then they're going to want to come up, and so that's like a sort of natural benefit to you guys that you are getting more of a
sort of... It can go from somebody having a free night stay to them popping in even once a month for a coffee with a friend. I mean, it's just for any other business, honestly, it's the feel good. It's the feel you're doing something.
And at the end of the day, these the businesses that do get involved in hospitality, they're making such a huge difference to families, without a doubt. You know what I mean? And it could just be, like you said, from the littlest thing to the biggest thing. That little thing could just turn somebody's life around by just getting that little break away. And I think that's the important thing, isn't it? That is what business is going to get from that, making a big change to people's lives. And I think over the past few years, unpaid carers have it's grown so much, obviously due to everything that's went on, and there's so many people that don't understand that are an unpaid carer. But even like Nikki, you and your staff and that within the Woodlands will be so much more aware of unpaid carers now and what goes on. So you're then identifying these people as well within that caring role, and then you're going to just it's a win. You're then able to feed that back and say, well, do you know about Dundee Carers Centre? Do you know what you could be getting, what you could be available to you? So
I think as an employer as well, it opens your eyes slightly to. I mean, I never thought of myself as an unpaid carer. We had, my father-in-law was very ill with dementia, and we did everything. And I didn't think of that as being an unpaid carer in any way, shape, or form. However, it comes in many different shapes and forms, and so having done that and then being involved with this. You look, it opens you up to your staff coming to you and saying, actually, that's what I have to do day in, day out. I come to work for a break, and you're not going, right, okay, well, what can I do to help you?
Yeah.
Can we sort hours out? Is there something you just need to come and tell me? If you're needing time off or something, tell me. It's not, it makes you more a sympathetic employer, I think, if you can understand that everybody goes through something at some point. Everybody does, and everybody needs that help. And if you can be that accessible, if your staff can even look at you differently and see you as being accessible, that opens up that avenue as well as just, giving away free stuff. That's not what sort of simplifying it, but
it's inspiring them to have those conversations with you, isn't it? To say, actually, that's my experience as well. And they know you support that.
Up the conversation.
They know you'll be with that conversation. That's amazing.
And if a conversation can help somebody in any way, I think it's valuable.
Yes.
A benefit that at the beginning of this conversation you wouldn't have really thought of, but when you actually tease it out and you talk about it, there's many benefits.
Yeah, there is. Well, thank you for that, Nikki. Thanks very much for your input there. So, Marthe, we've talked about so much of what we can give and what people can be receiving or getting access to, I suppose. How do people get access to a short break?
So, obviously, as I mentioned before, we don't have like an application process. No. If a carer is interested in accessing the service, they would get in touch with us. They can either call reception, they can download a referral form from our website and email that into the short breaks inbox to be referred. As you can imagine, we're a very busy service. It's a very popular service amongst carers. But once we receive a referral from carers, we try to get in contact with them within about a week. We're receiving the referral, just have a chat with them, see how they're doing, make contact, update them on the next steps, and then any kind of potential waiting times. Because, like I say, it is obviously a very busy service. And then from there, we would kind of take it from there in terms of making appointments and things.
Great, thank you for that. Well, it's been lovely talking to you all, and a lot of information I feel that people could pick up and take away with them after watching this. We will pop all our web pages, contact details in the comment section below. So if anybody who's watching wants a bit more information, you can get in touch with us through the comment section or direct message us, and somebody will get back to you in due course with any answers. Okay, ladies, thanks again.